If you've been waiting to cash in your V card, that long wait might have been worth it, because apparently there's never been a better time to lose your virginity, at least in a few ways. Now, they've been studying sort of the effect emotionally and in terms of satisfaction of losing your virginity for a number of decades, and now we have decades to compare, and things are actually getting better. So to summarize some of the older research back in the day, they would say that although men did tend to feel anxious prior to losing their virginity, previous research found that they also tended to leave the experience feeling okay about it, satisfied, for instance. Women, on the contrary, experience more sadness, guilt, nervousness, embarrassment, and less pleasure, satisfaction, and excitement relative to men. So all of that is, that's bad. That's bad partially for the men that they're feeling overly anxious, but it's especially bad for the women. And the thing is that your first sexual experience can have a long-lasting and durable effect on how you view sex, and so we would want it ideally to be positive in every way. And so now we've got some updated numbers. We're going to bring up some charts here. And so really fast, if these are not as visually appealing as our previous charts, it's because we're using primary sources, which you guys say you want us to do more. So here, you're getting what you asked for. These are from the actual study. So you're seeing there about 3 decades, from 1980 up until just 2 years ago. The blue line is men, the red line is women, charting their average pleasure that they report after losing their virginity. And you're seeing that it's relatively constant for men, just very slightly, probably not statistically significant, higher in the most recent decade. But women have been consistently going up. And certainly that's a good thing. I mean, pleasure is, after all, one of the main goals in a sexual encounter.
I love that. I mean, I like that there's a little less slut shaming these days, and I think that's the reason why women are starting to enjoy it more. And also, people are becoming a little more progressive in terms of their sexual thoughts or ideas. So I think overall it's a great thing. It has a lot to do with how society portrays women who are sexually active or open. And the openness and the willingness to accept women who want to express themselves sexually is a great thing. And obviously it's translating to girls having a better time when they decide that they do want to lose their virginity.
Exactly. Yeah, and so that first chart, you see pleasure there. I mean, there's a lot of, I love what you said about how society views people having sex. That's definitely a part of it, sort of the psychological, emotional side of losing sex. It could be that we have more advanced condom technology, and so it literally feels better. It could be that thanks to porn, they know more exciting and experimental sexual positions, perhaps. I don't know. It's a complicated thing. They'll look into it. But let's move on from pleasure to anxiety, because as we said early on, men often feel a lot of anxiety before their first sexual encounter. Here's the chart showing the last 3 decades. Male anxiety has actually been going down at least a little bit, about 10% over that time. Female anxiety going up very slightly, perhaps not statistically significant. So, but more importantly, perhaps, in getting to Anna's point about sexual guilt, you have, thankfully for both, but especially women, sexual guilt after losing your virginity going down. And as you said, that's almost certainly because society isn't as harsh in terms of how they view women who have sex, who enjoy sex.
Yeah, I mean, in a perfect world, we would have an environment where comprehensive sex ed is available to everyone. That way, people are educated about sex before they decide to lose their virginity. That way, people are ready to lose their virginity when they actually do it. And I love that guys are feeling less anxiety about it. I mean, to be completely honest with you, putting myself in a man's position, I would be a mess when it comes to losing my virginity, because I think there's a lot more pressure on the man to perform, when they lose their virginity than for the woman to perform.
In some cases.
In some cases, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of anxiety for women as well, but I don't think nearly as much compared to men. So it's good news that the anxiety has gone down for men, and the guilt has gone down. And the guilt has gone down for men as well, although they weren't that guilty to begin with.
Exactly.
Right?
This is all my fault.
By the way, I just want to talk about family dynamics as well, because I think that it's actually pretty common for a family where there are 2 siblings, one's a boy, one's a girl. The boy is kind of congratulated when he loses the virginity, right? But it's not the case with the girl. Usually it's a little...
We're going to test this in about 15 years with Cenk Uygur.
Well, Jake
He's got a son and a daughter.
Jake has already spoken about this a little bit,
really?
And I get the sense that he would feel that way. Like, hearing about his daughter having sex would probably make him uncomfortable. Hearing about his son having sex, that's a totally different story. It's like,
yeah, they're going to do shots together or something. Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love what you talked about the anxiety. And the thing is, like, we saw the number going down, and we've said some of the reasons why socially it would be likely to go down, but there are also reasons why we could have imagined it going up. I mean, people see, thanks to high-speed streaming online porn, and the amount of porn and all that, the availability of it, like, there's a lot of reasons why young girls might feel a tremendous amount of anxiety and pressure because guys have been exposed to insane, unthinkable things before they ever have sex. And that can put sort of a high bar for women to feel that they have to perform to keep up with that. The fact that their anxiety is still going down despite that means that the social effect might even be stronger than we would have otherwise thought. And so that's certainly good. I mean, look, we're libs. We're not scared of sex in the way that religiously oppressed people tend to be in this country. I personally think that it is an incredibly natural thing. There's no reason why younger kids with each other, not with adults, should be doing it. We should make sure that they're safe, that they're educated. Because the thing is, like, is there anything that can lead to more long-term emotional problems in life than having a bad first time and not feeling comfortable sexually throughout your life, not being able to connect in that way with another person? That would be incredibly damaging to a person's psyche, I would imagine. And so we have to do what we can to stop that.
Agreed.
Okay, agreed.